Welcome, everyone, to a Hungry Heathen's Kitchen. Okay, so the recipe I'm using is a eggless recipe. So to make this, you're going to need salt, butter, obviously, sugar, milk, raisins, very important. If you can find it, you can use candied citron or candied orange. Unfortunately, I can't find it, so we're going to substitute that tonight with candied pineapples. Now, when I made this last week, I used the candied pineapples. The only complaint I had from anybody was that they were too big. The chunks were too big. So tonight we're going to chop them up. You're also going to need raisins. Now, I know what you're thinking. Raisins, ew. But if you like raisin bread, you're going to like this. It comes out really well. Also, cardamom. It's very important. So, to get started, you're going to want to get a saucepan. Like this one. You want to mix together butter, milk, sugar, and salt. Next, you're going to want to add a quarter cup of sugar. Got our quarter cup right here. Fill that little guy right up to the tippy top. And dump that in. Now, we need 1/8 cup of butter. It's easier right around this time I realize I really need to stop buying the tubs of butter. So, you take this is a... be smarter than the container. So we're going to take this is a quarter cup, but inside of here it's got this little spot for 1/8 cup. I'm going to kind of scoop it in there because, you know, I buy the tub butter like a genius. And it doesn't have to be exact. I'm 90% positive when I made this last week that I was close. I don't want to say I was exact because, I mean, when you buy the tub butter, like the smart guy that I am, it tends to be hard to get it exactly right. Okay. Now after that, we're going to want a teaspoon. Teaspoon, not a tablespoon. And teaspoon. It's this little guy right here. See how that says TSP? That's teaspoon. Now, I'm not saying I've messed up the difference between a teaspoon and a tablespoon before, but all I'm saying is I've made some really salty cookies. Anyway, 1 teaspoon. If it had come up. Hello? And we're going to wake the salt up. Let's try that again. Woohoo! There it is. Look at that. A teaspoon of salt. Now, we're going to want to take this and put it on a low flame. So, adjust that down. We're going to put this on a low flame. Just until the butter melts. Now, we're going to want to stir it. All that fun stuff as we go. So, low flame till the butter melts. Now you're going to want to stir this for obvious reasons. You don't want at least stir it a couple times. You don't want everything to kind of just settle. That's yuck. You want it to kind of mix in really well and blend in really well. So while we're waiting for the butter to melt, we stir. Now, when you're done with this, you're going to want to set it aside. Like, take it right off the burner, set it off to the burner next to it. So, take it off, you know, shut the heat off, take it off this burner, put it on that burner because that one's cold. And let it come to a lukewarm temperature. Now, while you're doing that, you're going to want to get a bowl. Okay, butter's melted. We're gonna move it over here. Now we're gonna go get a mixing bowl, just a small bowl. So hang on. Okay, so you're going to want to get a bowl about this size, a cereal bowl, mixing bowl, whatever. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your apple cider vinegar. This is going to be a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. So, that would be this one, TBSP, tablespoon. Maybe. No? Alright. Look, I'm doing this on my phone right now. I don't have a nice fancy webcam yet. If things really start to take off with this channel, we'll invest in some sound equipment and stuff. So, apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon. Now, I'm going to set that aside. Next, we're going to need a 1/4 cup of milk. So, I'm going to use 1/4 cup. Actually, use this one because the other one's got butter in it. So, nice thing about these measuring cups are 2 cups in one. So we're going to take and bloop, 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 1/4 cup milk. And I'm going to dump it on the counter because I'm a genius. So we're going to kind of give it a little splash just to... Now, you're going to want to let this curdle. I know it sounds incredibly gross, but you're going to want to let it curdle because it's going to get about the consistency of an egg. I know what you're thinking. Oh, why don't we just use an egg? You know what? Honestly, this recipe came out really good. The crust was really good. The whole thing was just fantastic. So, next, while we're waiting for that to do its thing, we are going to... Now, you're going to want to let it stand for 5 minutes. So next, we're going to go get our mixing bowl. Just the angle a little bit because I found myself staring at the button when it was over here on this side instead of over here where the camera was. So, listen, we're nothing but professional here. Okay, so, mixing bowl. Now, in this bowl, we're going to want to put together some warm water and yeast. So, we need a 1/4 cup of warm water. Okay, I'm going to put our 1/4 cup of warm water in here. And now, we need 2 3/4 teaspoons of yeast. Now, you can go to Walmart or whatever your local shop and rob is and get this. So, 1 packet of these is 2 1/4 teaspoons. So, I'm going to go right ahead and rip right off that one. I'm going to dump this right in with the warm water. Now, this one is leftovers. So, use 2 1/2 teaspoons. So, we're going to want to put a 1/4 teaspoon. If I can get it open. Maybe. You know, there's times I'm really envious of people who have long nails because I don't. Okay, so we put 2 1/2 teaspoons in here already. So now we need a... Okay, 1/8 of a teaspoon. So 1/8 teaspoon, 2 of these is a 1/4. Because I don't quite know. Anywho, so 2/8 is a 1/4 teaspoon. You know, blah. And blah. Alright, so now that's mixed together. Now while we're waiting for the milk and vinegar to curdle, you just kind of stir this all together right now. It's when we get to the bread making part, you're going to want to use a whisk. Because if you use a spoon, you're going to whisk. You didn't. That was bad. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to kind of mix the water and the yeast together while we wait for everything else. So, warm water, yeast. Now, this is mixed up. We're going to grab off of the stove the butter, milk, sugar, salt, everything that we heated up and let melt together. We're going to add that in next. So, now, lukewarm is realistically, it doesn't have to be lukewarm. Like, if it's not, as long as it's not scalding hot, I imagine it would be fine. So, put that in there, mix that together. Now, excuse me. So, now we need a half a cup of flour, which I haven't grabbed yet. So, okay, so now we need a half cup of flour. So, I'm just gonna kind of get it, close. It's flour, it's chunky. Now this is the part where you're gonna want the whisk, because it's gonna get thick. And when I say it's gonna get thick, I mean it's gonna get thick with like 3 C's the more flour we add to it. So we're gonna take that and yeet that in the sink. So now we're gonna whisk it. I'm gonna pull my sleeves up because, well, I mean, it's a pretty epic sweater, and I don't want flour on my sleeves because I kind of want to wear this tomorrow. We'll see. Now we're gonna just kind of stick the whisk in here. We're gonna kind of stir it up and mix this all together. And now we need our raisins. So we need, excuse me, 3/4 of a cup of raisins. This is 1 cup. So we'll do it this way. Let's use the one that has the milk in it. Now, any raisins work. It's really dealer's choice. I like Sun-Maid. So it's going to take about 2 boxes just to get the first half a cup. Now, if you're a big raisin fan, don't eat them until after. Like, don't eat all the raisins, or buy a bucket. The bucket of raisins, whatever. Okay, so we're looking at 3/4 a cup of raisins. Now, so far we're at 3 boxes, just to get to a 2/3 a cup. Anyway, okay. So, well, because I do such a great job at paying attention to what the hell I'm doing, I had the wrong cup. Now, anyway, so it's going to be about 3 boxes of raisins just to get the first half a cup. So, if you're a raisin fan, like if raisins are your thing, I definitely recommend getting the bucket so you can snack while you make this. Now, it goes first half cup. Your little tap, 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 taparoo. I need to get my other 1/4 cup. And the problem with doing something like this is you tend to dirty a lot of dishes. The other 1/4 cup is in the sink with butter in it. So, now you're looking at about I want to say about 4 boxes of raisins. So, and again, this is a general rule of thumb. If you like raisins, nobody's stopping you from adding a cup of raisins, except maybe the family you're gonna feed this to. So, added our raisins. Now, this is the part where you're going to want to add, if you have citron, or whoops. Just gonna put those in the trash can. So, this is the part where you would want to add your citron or orange, candied oranges, you know, whatever. It's a 1/4 cup. So because, like I said, I can't find citron anywhere, we're going to use candied pineapple. Now, you can candy whatever you want, whatever fruit you want to put in it. If you feel like candying it, all the power to you. I don't. It's a lot of work. So, candied pineapple. Now, nobody's stopping you from trying this and eating it because it's actually really good. So, we're going to want a 1/4 cup of that. Now, be aware that there's a lot of sugar on this, so it's sticky. I have a 13-year-old daughter, but if I had to rate the level of stickiness, I would say probably a toddler's fingertips would be about accurate. Now, we're going to want to chop this up before we put it in here. Because if you don't chop it up, the biggest complaint that I had about this was that the pineapple chunks were too big. So if you chop it up before you put it in here, I guess it's going to come out, you know, about the same size as the raisins. And there will be more of it through the bread too. So, okay. Put that back over here. Professional. Like I said, we're doing this all on the phone right now. If things take off, I'm going to get a webcam. But for now, we're doing this. Now, you know how to chop this stuff up. It doesn't have to be like super tiny, but you know, I mean, tiny enough. You know, like that. I think that's probably good. If you can get it about the size of the raisins, but it's like I said, it's super sticky. Like we're talking toddler fingers after they were quiet for a little while, sticky. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh God, it sticks to everything. So yeah, don't be afraid to wash your hands after this because, well, it's sticky. It's definitely, if you were to leave a can of soda, or if you're in the Northwest, can of pop, if you will, out in the summer sun, and just let it just dribble just a little bit on the park bench, and then come back in about 5 minutes after the sun has been beating on it and stick your fingers in it. That's about what this feels like. So if you're weird about things like you're neurodivergent, which same, you might want to get a pair of rubber gloves for this part. Nobody's going to judge you. We don't judge anybody here because honestly this is driving me up the wall. And if I didn't spend my childhood years working on cars with my dad, I probably wouldn't be able to get anything like this on my fingers without losing my mind. So, I'm going to just finish chopping this up quick. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect because, again, nothing is perfect. Nothing when it comes to cooking, people, nothing is perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I wouldn't just toss it in there. Like, you're going to kind of want to separate it because it is sticky. Like, it's really sticky. Like, I don't know if you can... That's my fingers. So, all right, toss that in there. Now, Can you stop? Can you? All right. Well, that's going to live there for now. Anyway. So now we're going to put all that in there. And then we're going to go wash our hands because everything is sticky. You know what? Problem solved. Okay, we're back now that our hands are washed and everything. Almost forgot. Make sure you add the bowl. Ooh. Chunky. You're gonna want to add that in too. That is substituting for your egg. So, okay, now mix all this together. And you gotta just, like I said, don't use a spoon, use a whisk. Because if you don't, you're gonna whisk, you did. My puns are terrible and I'm sorry. Now, we're going to add another cup of flour. Remember, we're making bread. So, that was a bad idea. I'm gonna send that over there. And move the cutting board. Now, the cutting board, if you're wondering, does in fact say I'd rather be cutting lines on it because that's my sense of humor. I got it from a place called Not Your Mom's Dollhouse. She has a store on Etsy. Highly recommend just giving her a quick Google search. She has a bunch of stuff like that. That's your sense of humor. Definitely recommend. The cutting board is really well quality. It's bamboo. She also sends you a mini cutting board to go with it too. So, you know, because she makes dollhouse miniatures too. And she's really personable because I'm an idiot and actually originally ordered the wrong one. And I sent her a message like, hey, so I'm a dumbass, and I ordered the wrong cutting board. And she's like, yeah, no problem. I got you all set up. So I posted it on my Instagram. After I got it, I was like, oh, the cutting board I ordered came. And she's like, oh, you mean the cutting board that you had asked me to change it to because you ordered the wrong one. Okay. All right. Well, you didn't have to do me dirty like that on my Instagram, but thanks, Mary. All right. Anyway, in goes cut flour. Now, this is where you're going to make a decision. If it's soft, if the dough is soft, what you're going to want to do is add another half a cup. So when I made this last week, I ended up using the full 2.5 cups of flour. It came out really well. So I would recommend. I'm not saying like you need to, but I'm saying if you put 2.5 cups of flour in it, it's not a big deal. So now again, it's getting back with 4 C's. Just gonna, hey, grab the mixing bowl with a handle on it and then don't use the handle. Anyway, so, and I mean, it's a dealer's choice. Like last week when I did this, like I said, I definitely just added the extra half a cup of flour because I mean, realistically, it's not gonna hurt it. But after this, we're going to knead the dough. Are we kneading the dough, or does the dough knead us? So, I would recommend when you're done, because you're never going to get all of this out of the mixing bowl. I'd recommend when you're done taking a rubber spatula and just scraping it. Just scrape everything out of out of the bowl because, I mean, let's face it. Why waste it? Don't lick it like you would cookies, though. That's a bad idea. I remember when my mom used to let me lick the egg beaters when she got done making brownies. If she's in an especially good mood, she'd shut it off. Alright, so, half a cup of flour. Like I said, I did this last week. I used a full 2.5 cups. It's not going to hurt it. Save this. You're going to want to throw some flour on the counter when you're done, because bread dough is incredibly sticky. You thought the pineapple was the candied. No, we're going to take these off too. You thought the candied fruit was sticky. I guarantee you, the dough sticks to everything. So add that extra half cup flour in there. Let the dough get nice and stiff. Mix it in really well. Yeah, that's good. That's good dough right there. Okay. Mix it in. Make sure your counters are clean. I shouldn't have to say this, but I will. Make sure the counter's clean. You're literally throwing this on a counter unless you have a thing to throw it on. I just throw it right on my counter. My counter's clean. You know, I clean it every time I make something on it like this. So that is thick. That is right. That is about the consistency you want this. It's just really difficult to get off the whisk. Oh, that just landed on my computer. Anyway, sidebar: don't throw the whisk around. Don't wave it around like it's a magic wand. You're gonna get bread everywhere. Really, whiskey would come out of there. There we go. Now we're getting there. Sometimes you gotta wave it back and forth. Wave it around like you just don't care. Hey, ho. Holy crap! Now, because I'm working in a small counter space right now, I'm going to take a few minutes and do some housekeeping. Okay, we're back. So, you're going to take some flour. You want to put it on your counter. You know, just think a little bit. If you have any rings on, take them off. You're going to want flour on your hands too. And the reason for this is because, like I said, you saw how thick it was. It's going to stick. So you're going to want to... Hello? Hola. Please come out. There we go. So I'm going to grab... Kind of just... Grab what you got in there. Set it on this. Now, we're going to need this. Now, I need you so badly. Anyway, that was terrible. So you're going to want to just knead it. Just throw it down. Stretch it, knead it, pull it, bop it, twist it. 90s kids will get that reference. So you're going to want to do this for about 8 minutes. 8 to 10 minutes. Again, this isn't a test. Nobody's like, yeah, you didn't do that for 8 minutes. It's fine. Just knead it so it's elastic, you know. And like I said, the flour on the counter is a big thing. It makes a big difference versus scraping crap off your counter or not having to. Like when I'm done with this, I can just sweep it right off the edge of the counter into the trash can. So, there goes a raisin. Anyway, I'll get that in a minute. So you're going to want to knead it. You're going to want to... And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing when it comes to cooking is ever perfect. But I digress. So, I got a nice shot of the T-Rex in there. Yeah. because he's here to T-Rex them holidays. Anyway, put that out of the way. So, now when you're done with this, you're going to want to take a bowl, which I'll grab here in a second. You're going to want to grease it. Cooking spray works fine. Don't get overzealous with it. The grease is realistically just to keep the bread from sticking to the bowl. Because when you're done with that, you got to let it sit for 2.5 hours and let it double. It takes about 2 hours. So, I like to slap my bread, let it know who's boss. And try not to get crap all over my sweater. Anyway, so bing bang boom, needed. I need you, you need me. I really should stop singing on stream. Anyway, and you just kind of, I don't know what that was, but maybe, yeah, how you doing? Like, hey, you got a lot of tension up here in your shoulders. Just gonna kind of work that out for you. Yeah, you got a lot, like carrying a lot of tension up here. You gotta kind of massage the bread. You want to throw as much of your love into the bread. You want to massage it. So, this serious note for a minute. The flour on the counter, the flour on the fingertips, like I said, I mean, it's still sticking, but not as bad. It does make a difference between having a dough or having a mess. Okay, so you want to do, like I said, you want to do about 8 to 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be exact. 5 minutes is more than enough. So, we're going to want to tip that up. Alright, now I'm going to take our bowl. This is a mixing bowl. I mean, you can use the one you just used. I'm going to grab a rubber spatula. Words. I'm going to grab a rubber spatula and get all that out of there. Because I want to try and keep as much of the I want to try and keep as much of it as I can, because this recipe makes a loaf, a whole loaf, and the recipe will be I'm going to put it in the description of the video. But this recipe makes a loaf. It's one round loaf. It's so good though. Like, this particular loaf that I'm in the process of making, that I'm showing you guys how to make, is actually I'm taking to my dad's tomorrow. He's not heathen. He's not a heathen. My dad is very, very Christian, which, we can get along. We everybody gets along, so we'll make a video about that another time, though. I don't want to get, like, too weird about religion and politics and all that stuff just yet. But, my dad is a Christian, and realistically, it's hard to get out of the traditions and everything like that. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating holiday with your family, because that's the biggest thing for us as pagans is always our ancestors and our family. So, and I mean, my dad and I have gotten to do some really cool things together. So, anyway, take as much of that as you can scrape. I'm not going to get weird with it. You can get weird with it. I'm not getting weird with it. Alright, so, next, you want to grease. And I mean, you can use vegetable oil if you want. I did last week. It was a mess. So, cooking spray. It ain't going to, just going to get in there, grease the dish. So the reason why you're greasing the dish is because your loaf is going to grow. You're going to put it in here. You're going to cover it for 2 hours. So we're going to do this. We're going to grab our loaf, pop up, right in the dish. Now, we're going to want to cover it for a couple hours. So take our baking towel. We're going to cover it for 2 hours. Now, it should double in size. What you're doing is you're giving the yeast time to work. And then in 2 hours, we're going to come back and we're going to finish. So you've got 2 hours to go do whatever. Nap, play with the dog, chase the kids, whatever you do. We'll be back.
2 hours later.
Okay, guys, we're back. It's been 2 hours. The same thing as before. A little bit of flour so it doesn't stick to the counter. Same with your hands, too. Now, you don't want to see how that got bigger. Slide that right on out there. You don't want to knead it for another 2 minutes. Like I said before, this isn't a test. There's not going to be a quiz. 2 minutes is just a general thing. So, knead it up, you know, a little massage, a little back massage, you know. Knead it like it needs you. It was terrible. It was a terrible pun. And when you're done, this is the longest part of the whole process. When you're done kneading the dough, and who doesn't need dough, really? So when you're done kneading the dough, you're going to want to take a pan. I use my pizza pan. We're going to want to give it a good spray with the old cooking spray there. I'm going to put this on your pan into a round loaf. Now this is why I said this is the longest part of the process, because now you got to cover it again and wait another hour and a half. Okay, so you've let your bread set for an additional hour and a half. It's on the plate. It's round now. Now you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350. And you're going to get yourself some milk and a brush. You're going to want to just kind of paint the loaf. And usually you pay extra for that sort of thing. Once you got it all covered, you're going to want to put it in the oven for 20 minutes. Let it bake. Okay, you're going to want to pull it out of the oven. You want to cover it with tin foil. And be careful. It's obviously going to be hot. Kind of just you got to cover the whole damn pan, just the loaf, really. Just kind of. And then you're going to put it back in for another 20 minutes. And when it's done, we're going to pull it out, take it out the pan, and let it cool. Okay, guys. Took it out of the oven. It's all done. So look at that. Now, you're going to want to take this off of the pan, put it on a cooling rack. Let it cool for a little while. Now, this is going to be, this is for tomorrow. So this is going to my dad's house, like I said, for Christmas. That's what I'm looking for, middle one. So this is going to my dad's house tomorrow for Christmas. You know, just to add something to dinner, something different. And like I said last week, it was really good. I highly recommend trying it with honey, if that's your thing. If you can find it, this right here. I picked this up at Aldi's. It's got if you haven't always in the area where you can find a similar honey, this has the comb in it, which is what I prefer. But let it cool. Slice it up and try it with butter, honey, whatever. It's really good. It's the way, and I was skeptical about this recipe too. I'm like, bread recipe with no eggs? That's weird. But it came out really good. The crust is really good on it. It's really soft on the inside. Like I said, the only complaints really about it were the pineapple chunks were too big. And like I said, I use pineapple because I can't find citron or candied orange anywhere. It's important that has candied fruit in it. Now, if you want to candy your own fruit, by all means. But I don't know how to do that, and it's, from what I hear, quite a pain in the ass. So, that having been said, give it a shot. If yours comes out, if it comes out good, leave me a comment, like, subscribe, share. I haven't really dug into my cookbook yet to see what I'm going to make, but I'm going to try and post at least one video a week. I do have a class coming up, so there might be one video that I don't post, but I'm going to try and post one video a week. So if this is something that you like, if this is something that you think that you'd be interested in getting more content on, like, subscribe, share, and we'll catch you next time.